Hey everybody, Dustin Schmidt here again. Today I'm going to talk about big lights and how helpful a big light can be when it comes to lighting interior scenes. So I put together a little 4-shot sequence, knocked it out basically over about an hour and a half, 2 hours in the morning, and shot a little something, and we're going to roll that. And then we're going to come back and talk about how we lit it, why we lit it that way, and some of the things that make a big light really helpful for this kind of stuff. So let's check it out. So there's a little spot, and the primary thing that made this doable from my end was the Aputure 600X. I have an Aputure 600X. I've had it for a while. One of the things that I didn't have for it though until recently was the F10 Fresnel and the barn doors. I'd just been running the standard reflector on it. That works great for bouncing into, a big piece of bounce, the ultra bounce, something like that, or through some diffusion. If you're going to light interviews or talking heads or things like that, works great for that. And that light has enough power to compete with daylight outside. So that's why I got it. I just needed one big key light that would kind of serve me for a lot of different purposes. And for me, the 600X was that. But again, I didn't have the Fresnel. I didn't have some of the other things that I think are probably kind of standard you really need to really utilize this light to its fullest. One of the things you'll see on bigger sets and bigger commercial sets is big lights placed outside. So outside of windows, shooting through diffusion, bounced off of things, but just big, powerful lights placed outside. It just makes scenes more, kind of narrative scenes, feel more believable when you've got, a big amount of light coming through a large source from further away. It helps to light some of these spaces. You're not doing kind of tiny little diffusion kind of up close. So I used the 600X outside on a couple of these shots, and then what I did inside was I just kind of smoked up and hazed up the interior. And one of the things that will do for you is if you have a big enough, strong enough, compressed enough beam of light through a Fresnel or something like that, is you can kind of get this shafts of light kind of look that comes through. And that's a fun look. It's a fun thing to see. Kind of a hallmark in some respects of a little bit bigger production value. So that was what I was trying to do on some of these. So let's look at some of these shots and talk about how this was put together. And I've got a little behind the scenes video that I'll roll as well. And then we'll come back and talk about it. So this opening shot set behind a kitchen table, shooting through into another room, into the living room here. And we've got the 600X outside, lighting up this living room, not really carrying into the dining room. The dining room is getting some light from off to the right here, through some open windows, and then through a light just kind of kicking a little bit onto the table. But really what I wanted to do was kind of silhouette this figure coming in the frame, which is just me because I've got some spare time to do that right now. But to provide almost a silhouette and a frame within a frame here, and to also get those rays of light coming through. So there's, a good bit of haze in the background, a little bit of some practicals in the frame as well, and just to kind of set the scene and set the mood of where this light is coming from. So we got this interior light here, just kicking a little bit on our actor as he comes into frame. And then just flagging that off a bit from this back wall so we don't spill light everywhere. Over here, just to bring up the table a little bit and kind of put a little bit of light on that, there's a Light Motion Stella Pro 5000. And the window's open on this side as well, so we can get additional kind of level on that table so it doesn't go black. I wish I had something like a Alico or a Spotlight or something for this, but I don't, so I'm just using what I have right now. The second shot is just the turnaround. So now I've taken that 600X and I've moved it over to a different window. Now it's coming in from frame left here. Still some haze kind of hanging in the air, and so you can see those, actually see the beams of light again. You need haze to do that. You can't really do it without haze. It also kind of just like lifts the black level in the room a little bit when you do that type of thing. The light's a little bit harder here, coming in on my arm and my head. We're going to soften that out when we go in for the close-up, and we're going to do that in a slightly different way. So when we go to this tighter shot, I think this is on a 50 here, or zoom to a 50 on a Canon zoom. And I've kind of flagged off that big light outside, so it's just hitting the table and the laptop a little bit. Provided some negative fill on the left, and then just brought in a softer light a little bit closer to light the face. And since we've already established where our light is coming from outside, we can light from this direction and we can soften it up, and it's believable. And the viewer feels like the light's still coming from the same direction, but we just don't want it to be so hard for this close-up shot. So quickly, here's our setup in here. We've still got our 600X out the window, but we've kind of flagged that off a little bit with the curtains and the shutter here, just to get that off of the face, that hard light off the face. And then instead we're lighting the face with just an ultra bounce and that Hornet 200C into there to get a little bit of light on the face. Some negative fill on this side to cut out a lot of this light that's coming in through the kitchen. And then I've actually got the Stella Pro 5000 kind of throwing some light on that back wall there here in the corner. You can see it getting flagged off by this flag. So this flag's kind of doing double duty, negative fill and flagging that light, just so this corner doesn't disappear into complete darkness. And we got camera position over here for that angle, a little bit tighter on a 50. So there's the setup for that. And then, because I was trying to figure out something to do for this, I have the laptop. I thought, hey, throw up my website, some of my photography work on there. Go check it out if you're interested. Link down below. And turn this into somewhat of a little promo spot here. And here's a quick shot of our reverse for screen. Just one big key, closing the windows off, no more light outside. Basically just one light and using the ambient light and a little bit of negative fill on this side. And that's it. And then last shot, kicking it back to the shot we already had before. And scene, and we're out. Talk briefly about the rig for this setup. Just got the R5C, shooting in 8K RAW. And just the Canon 24-70, 2.8 version 2. Just using that like a variable prime. Mostly shot at 35 and 50. Small HD 702 monitor. Be able to see that a little better. Got a FX Line Nano 3 powering the whole thing, both monitor and USB power to the R5C. And Bright Tangerine, Revolver, Atom, pull focus a little. Although I also use the auto face tracking, so see how that ends up looking in post. And there we go. So pretty simple little setup really for this. One big light from outside, one kind of smaller key light inside, and one little accent light. And then just, playing with a couple practicals and a little bit of smoke. So I would encourage you to check out the website, leave some comments on the spot. Let me know what you thought about the whole thing. How would you have done this differently if it was you? How would you have lit it? How would you have, cut it up or edited it together? Let me know your thoughts, and thanks for coming by. We'll see you in the next one.